Wow, what a difference a couple weeks makes. I returned from my epic trip in the States, in the Caribbean. Videos are being uploaded as we speak. Just days before the whole isolation and lockdown and quarantine business really got real up here in Canada. And so I got back on the 10th. I came in through Toronto, so technically as in Canada as of that evening. And then 2 days later, if you'd ever been in the States, or you hadn't come back from the States, or if you even went to it, self-isolation for 14 days, even without symptoms. That's what everyone's doing now. But, of course, since the border has been shut down entirely to pretty much anything except essential travel, which in this case is like truckers and stuff, just deliver goods back and forth between the two countries. It's never been shut down in 150 plus years of existing. Not like this. The closest was 9/11, and that was for about a day, I believe. So here we are. I'm going to go down there right to the border itself and check out what it looks like, because there is a park right on the border that covers both sides that you're still allowed to go to, apparently. If not, well, it's going to be a very short video. Yeah, it's come to this. Restaurants can't accept people dining. Weren't asking people en masse was a bit disheartening. I kind of expected that to be the case in the States, but I thought Canada would be more on top of it. Now that's changed a great deal since. I think about 3 days later is when they really cracked down on that, when they started telling people to self-isolate if you've left Canada at all. It's tough to know until you know, so I'm not putting anything on Trudeau or all the health authorities on that one, but it seemed like something to do. Now, they did do that on my cruise ship that when I boarded it on February 26th. Just went through basically a legal questionnaire saying, don't board if you exhibit any of these symptoms, and they gave a list of the ones that indicate that it's for COVID-19.
Ventilators. ABC's Mona Kosar-Abdi reports testing for the virus is also being limited.
Officials in New York purchasing more than 2 million new masks and 6,000 ventilators. The city now limiting testing for COVID-19.
The crisis is different. He says while conservatives are against the Liberals' philosophy of governing the country, there's not much of a difference in thinking when it comes to keeping Canadians safe. Scheer says that means the Tories will focus their energies less on the what of the government is doing and more on ensuring the Liberals are being held accountable for the how. Parliament is set to reconvene this week to pass emergency legislation designed to blunt the massive economic fallout from COVID-19. Canadian clergies are moving services online to support their congregations amid the COVID-19 pandemic. Pastor Mike Miller says 2,000 people viewed last week's service streamed online from Nova Scotia Church in Halifax.
Normally this sign will show how long it'll take to get through the two border crossings nearby. now it's just saying exactly that. Essential travel or only. We know. It'll be interesting to see if anyone heading down there actually doesn't know. On a normal Sunday morning, this area would be packed. At least a 30-minute lineup, maybe an hour. Possibly more, because it's pushing noon right now. And one of the busiest border crossings in the country, or between the two countries. I think it's the second or third busiest between Canada and the States right here. And virtually nothing. Apparently, for couples that are stranded across the border, someone living in the States, someone living in Canada, in this area, this is the one area where you're allowed to kind of commingle. Because you are, under usual circumstances, even without checking into the other country, you can cross the border as long as you stay within the park. I have made it to the 49th parallel, and I will be following the rules set out by both countries. Do not cross. Even though I think in this particular park you're allowed. Those three did. Am I really commingling with other people over there? No, but you gotta draw the line somewhere, and an international boundary sounds about right. Yep, international boundary. Right along this way. And right over there. See, that's a boundary marker across Boundary Bay, hence the name. And that massive land across the way, well, that's the Tsawwassen and Point Roberts Peninsula. Everything over there, that's Point Roberts, and that's Tsawwassen there. So I haven't been there in some time now. Grew up over there. And what's really interesting is those poor Point Roberts folks, there's no ferry terminal, there's a very tiny airport for like Cessnas. So outside of trucks still being able to come in to bring produce to the one supermarket there, the 1,000 or so people that live in Point Roberts are effectively quarantined already. And I don't know if they can get out because they don't have other basic services like dentists, doctors, hospitals, most of the pharmacies even. Most of them come across into Tsawwassen to do some of that, or come all the way around to Blaine or Bellingham for their American services. So we'll see what happens there. They might have a special exemption, just like the school bus does for the local school. Don't cross the... Oh, dog, you crossed the border! But remember, animals, as far as we know, do not... Hey, yeah. Sure, I get back to Canada. Good boy, or girl. And I've made a friend with this American crow. Oh, still staying on the right side of the border. Good job. This is surreal, man. Got some people coming home, maybe. Hope so. I've never seen something like that. Like I said, since maybe 9/11, and that only happened for a day or two. As scary as that was, this is actually even more serious. Now this highway behind me, that's Interstate 5 now, and it's probably blocked at the other end at the Mexican border. It's the only interstate that hits both the Canadian and American border. Road nerd. Here's the beautiful Peace Arch. Exactly 1 mile inland from the Peace Arch border is the Pacific Highway crossing, or as it's known locally, the truck crossing. And this is where all the trucks that are allowed to come through, part of the supply chain, are still allowed to come through. Here they are just on the American side of the border, getting over there. Yep, and this is where Zero Avenue used to be. They've kind of reorganized things around here because having a road cross right at the border is a little strange with all the security measures. Welcome to Zero Avenue on the US-Canadian border. I, of course, am on the Canadian side. And just across that ditch is the American side that we are forbidden from going to, and vice versa. If you'd like to watch a wonderful video of me driving the entirety of Zero Avenue a couple years ago, I'll provide a link for you. Yeah, this is literally the edge of Canadian society as we know it right now. Let's just get onto the right side of the road. And, alright. So you see these people? I hope they can figure out what side of the road they're going to stay on. Alright. This is the American side of Peace Arch Park. There's the American police over there. We are allowed to cross the border into that park only, and vice versa. And there's a few of these peace parks along the border between the two countries. But to adhere to the rules set out by Trudeau that Trump actually listened to. Good job, JT. I didn't cross the border at all, even though I was that close. One more shot of the Canadian border here. Coming in. No, okay, one car. Like I said, usually there's about a half hour to 1 hour line up here. But nope. Very minimal.